Ever wonder why your art doesn't look like the masters? You might be making these common mistakes. Welcome to the world of art, where every stroke of your brush or pencil contributes to the grand tapestry of your creation. But sometimes, despite our best efforts, our art doesn't quite mirror the vision in our minds. That's not a failure. It's a learning opportunity. And it's frequently due to some common pitfalls we all fall into, whether we're just picking up the brush for the first time or have been painting for years. The first of these common mistakes is neglecting the importance of sketching. Sketching is the blueprint of your final piece, providing structure and form. It's an essential step that's often overlooked in the rush to see the final product. But remember, a house built without a blueprint is likely to collapse. Next, we encounter the challenge of light and shadow. Understanding how light interacts with your subject can be the difference between a flat, lifeless image and a vibrant, realistic one. But fear not, we'll shed some light on this complex concept. Color theory is another area where many stumble. How do we choose the right colors? And how do we blend them to create harmony in our artwork? It's a vast and colorful topic that we'll explore together. The art of patience is also crucial. Art is not a race, but a journey. Rushing through a piece can lead to mistakes that could have been avoided with a little patience and planning. Finally, we'll recap these points and provide some actionable steps you can take to avoid these common mistakes in your artistic journey. So do not despair if your masterpiece doesn't look like Van Gogh's Starry Night or Da Vinci's Mona Lisa just yet. You're learning, growing, and that's what truly matters. Stay tuned to discover how you can avoid these pitfalls and take your art to the next level. The first mistake many artists make is skipping the sketching process. You might be wondering, why sketching? Isn't it just an extra step? Well, not quite. Sketching is far from being a mere prelude to your artwork. It is the backbone, the skeleton that holds your creative vision together. Think of sketching as a roadmap. You wouldn't set out on a journey without knowing where you're going, would you? Sketching is that initial plan, the preliminary draft that guides you through the creative process. It's like a light in the dark, offering direction when you might otherwise feel lost in the vast canvas of possibilities. One of the biggest benefits of sketching is how it helps structure your artwork. A sketch allows you to visualize the composition of your piece before you dive into the details. It helps you determine the placement of elements, the balance of the composition, and the overall flow of your artwork. Without a sketch, you risk ending up with a disjointed piece, where individual elements may look great, but they don't quite sync up in the grand scheme of things. Another crucial aspect of sketching is that it helps prevent proportion mistakes. By sketching out the basic shapes first, you can ensure that the proportions of your subject are accurate. This is especially important in realistic art, where an error in proportion can make your artwork look distorted or unrealistic. Furthermore, sketching allows for easier adjustments. It's much simpler to erase and move a line in a sketch than to change a fully colored and shaded drawing. By working out the kinks in the sketching stage, you save yourself a lot of time and potential frustration later on. So, the next time you're tempted to dive straight into the coloring stage, remember the importance of sketching. It might seem like an extra step, but it's a step that can save you a lot of trouble down the line. Remember, a good sketch sets the foundation for your masterpiece. The second mistake is neglecting the study of light and shadow. A captivating artwork is a symphony of contrasts, where light and shadow play the leading roles. They are the unsung heroes that add depth and dimension, transforming flat shapes into objects that seem to pop off the canvas. Now let's talk about value. Value is the lightness or darkness of a color. It's a crucial concept because it allows us to understand and replicate how light interacts with objects. When you start to see the world in terms of light, shadow, and value, you unlock a new dimension in your art. Imagine a world without shadows, without the interplay of light and darkness. It would be flat, lifeless. Just as music needs silence to create rhythm, art needs shadows to create depth. So, don't be afraid of the dark. Embrace it. Mastering light and shadow can breathe life into your work. Mistake number 3 is ignoring color theory. Color theory, at its core, is the science and art of using color. It's an essential tool in art, guiding us in mixing colors and exploring the myriad ways they interact with each other. But it's not just about creating a pretty palette. Color theory can give your artwork depth and evoke emotions. Let's start with the basics, the color wheel. It's a circular diagram of colors arranged by their chromatic relationship. We have primary colors, red, yellow, and blue, that cannot be made by mixing other colors. Combine these, and you get secondary colors, green, orange, and purple. Tertiary colors, like red, orange, or blue-green, are made by mixing a primary and a secondary color. Understanding these relationships can help you create color harmony in your art. Harmony creates an inner sense of order, a balance in the visual experience. When something is not harmonious, it's either boring or chaotic. At one extreme is a visual experience that is so bland that the viewer is not engaged. The human brain will reject understimulating information. At the other extreme is a visual experience that is so overdone, so chaotic that the viewer can't stand to look at it. The human brain rejects what it cannot organize, what it cannot understand. Now let's talk about color schemes. Monochromatic schemes use different tones, shades, and tints within a specific hue. Analogous schemes use colors that are next to each other on the color wheel. Complementary schemes are made of two colors that are opposite each other on the color wheel. Each scheme can create a different mood, adding another layer of complexity to your art. In conclusion, color theory is more than just picking the right colors. It's about understanding how colors relate to each other, how they interact, and how they affect the entire composition. It's about using colors to tell a story, to convey a mood, or to evoke an emotion. With a solid grasp of color theory, you can create more dynamic and evocative pieces. The final common mistake is rushing the process. Art, in its purest form, is not a race to the finish line. It's a journey, an exploration, a dance with creativity that unfolds in its own time. When we rush, we risk losing that delicate balance, that harmony with our own creative rhythms. Picture a potter at his wheel. His hands move in slow, deliberate motions, shaping the clay, feeling its contours, its texture. Each movement is intentional, each moment invested with focus. The potter knows that rushing can lead to cracks in the clay, distortions in the shape, and so he takes his time. He allows the process to unfold, to reveal itself. This, my friends, is the essence of patience in art. Rushing often leads to sloppy work. It's like trying to run before you can walk. You miss out on the nuances, the subtleties that give art its depth and character. You end up with a piece that's unrefined, incomplete. Patience, on the other hand, allows you to fully engage with your work. You become more observant, more attentive to details. You learn to appreciate the process, the gradual unfolding of your vision. You give yourself the space to experiment, to make mistakes and learn from them. And in the end, you create something that's not just visually appealing, but also rich in meaning and personal significance. Remember, art is not just about the end product. It's about the journey, the process. It's about immersing yourself in the moment, losing yourself in the flow of creativity. It's about exploration and discovery, about pushing your boundaries and stepping out of your comfort zone. And all of this takes time. It takes patience. So the next time you find yourself rushing, take a step back, breathe, slow down, appreciate the process. Remember that each stroke, each line, each color is a part of the story you're telling. And just like any good story, it needs time to unfold, to develop, to reach its full potential. Patience is a virtue in art as in life. Take your time and see your skills flourish. So, are you guilty of these common art mistakes? As we've explored today, everyone makes mistakes, even the greatest artists. It's all part of the creative journey. We've discussed the importance of sketching and how it lays the foundation for your work. Remember, it's not just about drawing lines, but about understanding form and space. Next, we've delved into the world of light and shadow. Understanding these elements can give your art depth and realism that's hard to achieve otherwise. We've also touched on color theory basics. Knowing how colors interact with each other can truly bring your artwork to life. Finally, we've looked at the art of patience. Art isn't a race, it's a process. It's about enjoying each stroke of the brush, each line of the pencil. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to subscribe for more art tips and tricks. Happy creating!